Wow. Welcome to the amazing Pinterest and SEO marketing, where we're going to be talking about, can Pinterest help my business? And that's a very interesting topic that we have to talk about today. And I'm going to let the visitors in as well. Okay, so this room is now open and I'm excited to have you here. So I'm excited to really have you here because it's really exciting to see everybody here. Thank you for being here. Thank you so much for being around. We're going to be talking about, can Pinterest help my business? And that's something that I want to talk about today. And I'm excited for you all to be here. Thank you, Steve, for being here. Thank you, Stephanie. And I've really been thinking about Pinterest for a while because most people don't really get to, I love Clubhouse because first and foremost, this is the We Don't Play podcast, which is available on all podcast platforms. And I've been really thinking, how can I do a podcast and connect with people while still interact without being, one directional? So I decided to, open up the floor, open up the room, but at the same time, build that conversation and make you understand that there are reasons why we do digital marketing. And one of the reasons why I love digital marketing is because there's always a new trend. And not that I'm following the trends, but there's a different culture that's adapted from that trend. So I'm able to analyze and see what can that do for me in the next couple of quarters of years or seasons or, determining factors. What are your KPIs? What do you understand when you're building your marketing strategy that builds for your most optimum value and at the same time most valuable success to your inbound marketing department and also the outbound? So how are you able to connect the two? And Pinterest does exactly that. And for me, if you want to check out my Pinterest account, it's also called Work and Play Entertainment. And I want to give you 10 benefits. And the first benefit is that if you think about the headers, because I'm going to give about 5 today, and we're going to be here for about an hour or so. So, you guys, thank you so much for being here. If you have any questions, please raise your hand. Feel free to interrupt me and we can definitely get the conversation going. So the first thing is, when you think about Pinterest business, you're not just thinking about a personal account. You're think about your Instagram for business. It's the same thing as TikTok for business. It's the same thing as Pinterest for business. You get different features that help you. And the first thing is a header. Imagine if you have a header on your profile, you're swiping and you see a profile that looks really good. The header is going to attract you because you want to know more about it before you even start to scroll. And that's what Pinterest does. It has a beautiful header. You can be able to create your pins. You can actually have videos as well. I love when I see a Facebook page, an Instagram page, maybe on their landing page, or something that brings a visual aspect to their culture, to their, their branding, because it's not just about what you see, it's about how you feel. And that's also about psychology and just marketing your business for your own quality and also your site authority and most definitely your brand loyalty. So you think about the headers and the latest pins, and with digital marketing, you can be able to easily, see people and discover and find products. And that way it gives a striking interface as a benefit to your business because it's also a search engine. Pinterest is like an amazing positive place, just like Clubhouse. Whatever room you're in on Clubhouse, whatever you're doing on Clubhouse, there's a way you feel about that room that makes you want to stay there or makes you want to leave. It's a given fact. So when you think about building interest and building relationships, you want to also build that awareness. And that's where the Pinterest business comes in. Another amazing feature that I love about this is that you're able to have a big, bold profile. Think about your name in a profile that's really big that you can actually look at and say, wow, this is really looking good. How can I be able to stay consistent by staying relevant to my discussion? Because Pinterest, if you are talking about A, you can definitely not be talking about B. Because under A, there's A1, A2, A3, A4. There are different subcategories of that just one keyword. So you have to be very specific on what you're trying to build. You can definitely have other branches, other demeanors, other characters, just like your avatar. But what is the main thing bringing them back? And that's what the profile is. Thank you, Amra. Thank you, Maria, for being here. Thank you so much for being here. If you feel free to interrupt me, This is a We Don't Play podcast show available on all podcast platforms, and I've been thinking about using my group, my club, just to build interest about, how this can actually help you. It's not really about, okay, I'm on Clubhouse to talk about this and that. I really want to add value. So I really want to, build conversations that actually make sense. So the first one I talked about was having an amazing header image, whether audio, video, visual, graphic, static, it's up to you. It depends on what your culture for your business is going to be doing. The second thing is the big, bold profile. Think about keyword tactics. Use a Pinterest search bar, use a Pinterest trends, use your Pinterest analytics, and that's what we're going to get to very soon. And that's towards the end. That's why I saved that for the last, because that's really where you get to know what is going on from the front end. So when you think about your profile, think about what people are reading, how they're reading it, how they feel when they read it, and what they see when they read what you say. So it's very important. And then you think about the number of monthly viewers. So people say this is like a vanity metrics. Yes and no, because if somebody sees your Instagram profile, your dashboard, for example, from the front end and sees how many people you attract as far as your engagement, that sometimes may determine whether they're going to follow you or not. So for you as a business owner, you have to look at that number, because the lower it goes, the less authoritative you are. But that's not and no, because it's also vanity metrics, because that doesn't really determine whether you are good at what you are or not. So it really depends on how you balance the two. What's the work-life balance? What's the work-play balance? What are you able to derive from that same sentence and still maintain value, because people are listening to what you say and they're following you. So when you see those monthly viewers, it's not just a number. That number could disappear if you go off Pinterest for a week, come back, you're going to think it's still there, it's going to drop. That's the thing about Pinterest. It's real time. It's a positive place. People are currently searching. People are impulsive. People are also very impressionable. People are very loyal to what they see. You don't have to be a big brand to stand out. You just have to be doing the right thing for the right person at the right time. So that's what Pinterest is about. It builds that. And I spend more time on Pinterest. Like my favorite apps now, Pinterest, Clubhouse, LinkedIn. I spend Instagram sometimes just to see what's going on, maybe post once or twice. But if I really want to enjoy myself on social media or on search engine, or creating that, omni-channel experience for my user experience, most definitely would be on Pinterest, because I'm able to learn, I'm able to share, I'm able to save, and I'm still able to run particular, campaigns, whether it's off or on. I have a video going on. I just dropped a music video. It's called No More Believe Me on YouTube. And when I look at my analytics on YouTube, I see that Pinterest is also an external source. So it tells me, okay, that's a nice reverse engineering process, because people are searching for the name on YouTube, but still, because Google, YouTube, and Pinterest are search engines, you're still able to get the right people that are searching for whatever you do because of the things that you say. Whether it's a video, a blog, a picture, an image, a post, a pin, those are the things that really drive that number of monthly viewers. And you realize, okay, more people are using their mobile phones than their desktops. And you're like, okay, if they're using their mobile phones more, that means I need to have 2:3 ratios, so that when somebody actually scrolls on my pin, it can cover their screen. Think about the number of people who are using it. It tells you, is it an Android? Is it a tablet? Is it an iPhone? What are you using, so that you can be able to drive the people that are already looking at you to convert that? Because sometimes you're like, oh, I need to get to 1 million views. When you get there, what are you going to do with them if you weren't able to handle 100,000 or 10,000 monthly viewers? Because those are people that are actually there. They're seeing you for a reason, if you're posting, that is. So it's very interesting. And towards the end, I'm going to tell you why I'm talking about this, because it's something that I actually want to start doing with this club, the Pinterest and SEO Marketing Club, because I realized that I want to connect with each and every one of you. You all are geniuses. There's something that you have that I would definitely want to learn from, so it's not about what I'm doing. It's about how can we connect. And that's why I love networking, because you never know what you can find. You never know what's going to happen. So that's the beauty of trusting the process. So when you think about creating that presence on social media, oh, I want to get this, I want to get that. you realize that the competition is so high on other platforms because everybody is using it. That's why I'm not there all the time, because I want to go to a place like Pinterest where I can learn something new, go work out, have a better physique, have a better eating habit, have a better sleep routine that I'm able to use and maximize on my time. So I'm able to give back and also see what I'm doing for my Pinterest users and also for my business and the clients that we have and we serve. And it's like, when you think about that, you know that when you're creating boards, pins, you can do so much with it. So the first one is have a beautiful header image. The second one is have a big, bold profile. Think about 3 keywords that you want to use in your business. What are the 3 things that you stand out for? And then see what they actually search for as a rankings on Pinterest, and then determine how you want to phrase them as a long tail keyword. That's going to help with your process. Then the number of monthly viewers is because people are searching for those things. So you're building that layer of trust. And then the 4th thing is have a latest board. Now, if you look at your boards on Pinterest and you scroll, you'll notice that some people use their boards more than others. Some don't use any at all. Some use maybe 2 or 3 and forget about the other 5. And you realize that people can still see that. And that just shows how either inconsistent or those numbers are there for a reason. It tells somebody, hey, okay, this person is focusing on this 3. It's summertime. Okay, we have summer collection. We have, something happening in the beach. You're having an amazing travel destination board. It's very specific. And then in another season, you have a completely different experience, but people are still searching. But you can also archive. You can be able to create secret boards. So you don't always have to show all your boards at the same time. And that's the beauty about creating boards. It's not, oh, this board is doing so well. What's going to happen to the other one if I don't do it? And people say, yeah, you have to pin at least 5 to 25 times a day. And you're like, wow, I don't have all the time for that. But when you think about it, you realize that when you do 5 a day, you realize that the other 20 that you're going to save are probably the things that you actually want to come back to. And that's the beauty about creating that Pinterest board, because now you're specific. Now you know what you're searching for. You're not all over the place. Because if you're all over the place, trust me, you're going to get lost. You're going to go down the rabbit hole. You're going to find a lot of things you may never leave. On average, someone spends about 14 minutes on Pinterest a day. And that's a lot of time. If you think about 14 minutes, that's a lot of time that you could be doing something else. So when you think about what people are searching for, that's where your Pinterest business marketing applies. And you're able to do this by understanding the analytics, which is the 5th thing. And then when we get to about 12:20 Eastern time, we can be able to, answer questions if you have any questions, because I love to talk to you all. And, feel free to bring other people into the room as well, because I want to learn from you too. The last thing is Pinterest analytics. Why? Pinterest analytics, it's amazing, because when you think about drawing analytics from a source that you created because you claimed your website as a business on Pinterest, it now tells whoever is looking at you that 1, you have a website, which means you're authentic. 2, you have something to show for because you're showing what you do. 3, you're able to be consistent. And that's where most people break down monotony. If you are not consistent on Pinterest, whether running an ad in the background and focusing on that one campaign that you're using as an omni-channel reverse mechanism for your business, then you can be very specific on how you're able to drive information. Because when people look at pins, they see a lot of things at the same time. So how are you going to stand out from X? How are you going to stand out from Y? How are you going to stand out from A? How are you going to stand out from B? And all these are call to actions that you think about and you're like, man, I don't have time. How am I going to get them to talk to me about this? When you think about creating display banners, that's why designers, and we deal with logos. Like last year, we were able to do about 12 logos as a business. And when you think about 12 logos that are designed from scratch, with guidelines, fonts, and PDFs, you're like, man, this is a lot of work. But when you think about the passion behind it, and you see people now opening bakery stores with the same logo that you went 6 months talking about, you feel happy because you've actually done something. You've helped someone. You've been able to drive something. So that's why I love Pinterest. And it helps me understand, also the communication methods. How am I able to talk to this person in this business, or convert what you're talking about in your business to, focus on your audience? And that when you understand the Pinterest analytics, you see that people can be searching for videos, stories, pins, and you can track them. Just like with your analytics on, Instagram, you can see who's following and everything. But I think with Pinterest, you can do so much more because it's something called a source. What is a source? A source on Pinterest is the analytics section where you're able to look at the overview. One, you're able to see your performance over time. And it goes all the way back to about, I would say, give or take like 90 days. So that's 3 months. So you have a quarter to decide what is my campaign going to be about between January to March, April to, June. What are you thinking about your KPIs? What are you able to do? And when you split that information, you realize that you can spend more time focusing on your pins and sharing other people's pins, but at the same time building awareness, because right now, just like when Instagram dropped the reels, Pinterest dropped their stories for business. And before, you couldn't even have a pin with a video. Now you can have a pin on video mode and still take them outside to maybe a blog that you talked about that will send them to a landing page, which is a click. And if you have a pixel, you can really understand that you're building a community because you're understanding that there's data entries coming back to you. So if you think about using Pinterest stories, Pinterest videos, instead of just having static pins, if you're on e-commerce, you can have products there. You can sell on Pinterest as long as you have your refund policy, your terms of conditions, you have everything in place and it's approved, then you're good to go. And when you think about call to action, it really helps with your processing because now you're able to understand why you're on Pinterest as a business. There are different businesses on Pinterest, but some of them are doing amazingly well. Some of them are trying to do well. Some of them don't know what to do. And I understand it gets hard, but the beauty of it is when you understand what you're doing, that's where the fun part comes in. That's why I stay on Pinterest. We were just able to cross, that 100,000 mark on our Pinterest business for the first time. And it's a milestone. I'm not thinking about the millions. I'm thinking about what have I done that has made me do this? And is it working? If it's working, then okay, I'm going to reinvent that wheel and process it till I understand what I did so that I can implement that for the next thing. And that's where the building, that's where the trust, that's where the commitment comes in. And Pinterest is hard, but it's also at the same time easy. But at the same time, it depends on how you want to decide what is your custom business name, what is your offer, what is your target audience. When you know what you're doing, then it affects your other platforms, your Pinterest, it affects your TikTok, it affects your YouTube, it affects your Facebook, Instagram. Now you're on groups talking about things. I'm on LinkedIn asking questions that I'm seeing on Pinterest because it's an important topic. So I'm like, okay, what do you guys think about this? Do you prefer that? And I see the votes and I'm like, wow, I didn't think you guys would actually respond. So you never know what's going to happen, but you realize that when you build that commitment, people are going to find you. They're going to enjoy what you say because at the end of the day, people only want to work with people they like, because they actually have something in common that they can commit to as a companionship or as a partnership that can say that tomorrow, because we did this, we're able to achieve that. And that's the whole beauty of partnership and networking. So this is a We Don't Play podcast show. I wanted to give 5 quick tips and I'm opening the floor. Amra, Will, Maria, if you have any questions, feedback, please come and let me know. And I would definitely love to interact with you all. And it's been an amazing time. And just by a show of hands, just to know, I won't bring you up on stage yet until you have a question if you want to be on stage. And just wanted to ask, by a show of hands, how many of you have used Pinterest for business? Let's see. Okay, Amra has used Pinterest for business. And with Will and Maria, if you've not used Pinterest for business, is it because and you can raise your hand too. Is it because you've, how do I put this? Because Pinterest for Business is very interesting and you can be able to still understand it. But my question to you, Will and Maria, would be, by raise of hands, would you like to understand Pinterest for business? Okay, Maria left. I don't know, Will, would you want to, learn about Pinterest for business by raise of hands? Okay, thank you for raising your hand. And if you have a question, just keep it up and then I'll bring you up. And I'm excited. Oh, I just got a message too from Amra. Thank you so much that's amazing, Amra. That's a beautiful one. Okay. Okay, so I would definitely want to talk about Pinterest for business, and I want to be sure that you're able to grow and learn that when you use Pinterest for business, you can be able to drive the right people to, where you're going. So feel free, Will, to send me a message on the DMs and on my Instagram, and then send me your Pinterest information so I can be able to see it, or what you have learned so far about Pinterest, and then I can probably take a few steps further and see where I can be able to touch on those points. But I wish Amra was able to come up, because she's also had an experience with it, and with what you've seen on Pinterest, you realize that as a business, you can market yourself to the furthest extent to anywhere in the world, but still bring them back to the source. And that's where you're able to really understand that this is where you want to be, because you create that communication strategy for your business. It's very applicable for the science of how you're actually, it's better when you're able to understand that there's much more you can do with Pinterest than you can do with other platforms, but still leverage with Pinterest as a way to get involved. And Will, feel free to click the link in my bio, and the first thing you're going to see there is I decided to do this, and that's why I also wanted to tell you about this today, because I've never done my podcast like this on Clubhouse, but I want to make sure that it's very direct, because I want to build that community, and by having show notes. So Will, please click on the link in my bio. The first image that you see is to join I'm going to be having a free masterclass, and I'm going to be having about a good solid 3 videos that will be unlocked, that will be able to give you a solid understanding of what I'm seeing on Pinterest, and how you can also see the same thing too on your dashboard. So let me know if you're interested. Please feel free to click that link in my bio, and it's going to be the first image. It's just going to ask you to opt in, and then from there, I'll be able to send you an email to let you know more about how you can be able to actually start the masterclass program, which is free. And it's something that I want to do for the Pinterest and SEO Marketing Club. So you also have to be part of the club too. That's also one of the benefits, because if you're not part of the club, that's going to be a little different. So feel free to follow the Pinterest and SEO Marketing Club at the top. And once we add you as a member, you can be able to get that benefit, because I really want to serve the members, the people who actually want to learn about this. And I actually want to give you my time. I don't want to waste your time either. So feel free to do that. And once I see it, I'll definitely get in contact with you. But just to, give you another quick run, because I'm also looking at the time, I said, okay, it would be good to be here for 30 minutes instead of probably an hour, so that, we can really have quick sessions, which I really like, because sometimes you don't want to keep someone for too long. So I would definitely, close this at 12:30 Eastern time. And I'll go over the 5 points again, just to make sure that we all have it together, just in case you may have a question, or if you have a question, raise your hand. But if not, we're good. But the 5 tips are: have a beautiful header image, be very strong on your image, know what your image is actually having for you, build that interest, because now you can be able to build Pinterest for your business with an idea, solving a problem. Because when you're on Pinterest, all you're doing is solving a problem. You're solving one thing that your business does for someone that's in need of that business opportunity, or that product, or that service. There's always that event that happens, but that only happens when you're able to exactly clearly state what it is that you're doing from a cold audience perspective, for them to understand and stay. So when you're able to build that, just know that the sky is the limit, because impressions really count, just like impressions count on your Instagram. If you post something on your Instagram and you have a low impression, that tells you, and this is across all social media platforms, impressions just tell you this is exactly what is happening and the number of times it was seen on the person's screen. That's all. It has nothing to do with anything. All it has to do is, has this thing been seen on someone's screen for X amount of time? Is there an audience? Is it going up? Is it going down? Are you engaging? Is there a total audience? If you have an engaged audience of 1.5K and you have a total audience of almost 80K, when you think about the conversion value from a 1 to 2% perspective, you realize that you can definitely get your 1%. And Will has a question. Thank you so much for coming up, Will. I definitely want to interact and build this engagement. So feel free. I just let you in. Hey, Will.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. How are you?
Excellent. I'm good. I'm doing well, man. Thank you. Thank you. I'm actually driving. That's why I hadn't really been responding.
Oh,
Trying to do two things at the same time. But I'm at a stoplight now, so I'm good. I'm not on Pinterest business yet. My wife and I have a small business. We have T-shirts, a small business where our T-shirts are focused on African American history, and we're just kind of getting a little more active on social. And so I never really thought about using Pinterest for a T-shirt business. I understand how Pinterest works, but I just wasn't sure if Pinterest was a good platform for a T-shirt business. And I was just kind of wondering if you could kind of give me any kind of guidelines as far as what to do as far as looking for other businesses that are like competition or other T-shirt business or clothing businesses on Pinterest, and like how could I do a good search of what's out there right now and what other people are doing?
That's a great question. I would definitely say that Pinterest and T-shirts are like two peas in a pod. They're so amazingly put together, because when you think about creating an impression on a T-shirt that someone can see and can think about themselves wearing it because it has something that is of interest, that literally takes you to the next level, which is now, what else do you have? How can I get this? Now they start getting interactive. Now they start engaging. Now they start sending emails. Now you can actually even have a contact information on your Pinterest account, because you can have your phone number and the email address of your work location, and they can literally reach out to you from Pinterest as a business. So that's direct marketing. That's literally them calling you without you having to call them, because they saw something one day that was of interest to them one time ago. So when you look at Pinterest trends and you look at the Pinterest search bar, I just did a quick search for you so that I can actually give you what's happening right now. On Pinterest right now with the Pinterest trends, the word t-shirt, the word t-shirt and jeans outfit, the word t-shirt dress outfit black girl, and t-shirts, and the last one is t-shirt outfit. Those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Those 5 keywords, they're about 7 or so. So 2 of them are not doing really well, which is like t-shirt mask DIY. No one's really searching for that, and no one's also searching for t-shirt quilts. But the others are doing well, which tells me that when someone is search on the search bar on Pinterest, the first thing I see is t-shirt design. That's the first search bar that comes up. So when you think about t-shirt design as a board or as something that you're putting on your Pinterest business account, what you're doing is that once somebody searches like I just did, the first thing that's going to pop is going to be based on the number of times you use that word t-shirt design, number one. Number two, people are going to be interested in that design to find out if there's actually more, because when they click on that design, it should take them to a shop. And because you have a t-shirt design and you have a website, you can shop on Pinterest directly, just like you can shop on Instagram. So the benefits are endless, because someone can be able to find your t-shirt, opt in, either call you, just place the order on Pinterest. And now, because you connected it to your account, what you're doing is that you're able to build that customer value. You can get the notification in email just like you would, on your website or on your Pinterest or your Facebook or your Instagram shop. And you realize that when you think about what they're searching for, and you create that intention to show them that this is a t-shirt design or this is a t-shirt brand, and when someone looks at your Pinterest and they can see that big bold profile saying with t-shirts, that means that you're ranking. The more times you're able to rank with that same word, with the same content, with the same relevance score, and with the same competition value, then you can be able to rank. And it's very possible, because all you have to do is stay consistent and have a strategy that actually works for you, because Pinterest works for everybody differently.
That's definitely helpful, very helpful. And one other question, you mentioned consistency, and I know definitely being on social, that's definitely something you want to do is be periodically posting information and stuff like that. But what would be your recommendation as far as frequency for Pinterest?
That's a good question. I would say For Pinterest, when you think about consistency, you have to do two things. Sometimes you may not have to do them all at the same time, but if you can do them simultaneously and they're working together, which works for everybody that does it, then you can definitely be on there and really have a planned strategy. One, you can automate your pins. So you can use either later.com or you can use another platform like Tailwind, which is amazing because they have a community. And you can be able to use either of those, maybe spend a day or two, maybe a day designing, a day, content creating, or a day doing both, and then schedule that for 30 days in advance. What you're doing is that you're planning for the season, just like you plan for travels, just like you plan for anything that you're trying to create as a campaign. You can plan that according to your pins and your boards. So what happens is on Pinterest, what you're able to do, ideally speaking, and this is from a practical point, you have something that you want to put out towards the end of this month, because now we're getting to the middle of the month. So before the end of the month, you may have a flash sale. On Pinterest, I'm just giving a hypothetical analysis report. Like if you're able to just put this out and say, okay, this is what happened. We put out a picture of this t-shirt design on different models within 1 to 5 days, for example, and then from 5 to 10 days, you're probably increasing that campaign by taking it to level 2 by probably having story pins. Because when you're engaging, what you're doing is that you're increasing that awareness. One, right now, Pinterest business users are enjoying Pinterest stories because it's being, favored by the algorithm because it's new, just like Instagram Reels and Instagram guides as well. But when you think about creating your designs and letting people know about the shop, the good thing on Pinterest is that once you have a shop connected, number one, before they even get to your pins, you already have a shop because there's an automated feed that's coming from the website. So you already have a catalog, you already have a product catalog. That feed is being transmitted to Pinterest because you've connected it through the catalog system. And then from there, you're able to now connect it to your website. So whenever you update your brand, update your policy, update anything, Pinterest is always going to get that data feed. And then you're able to now, translate that by showing people pictures consistently by automating your pins to boards. Even Canva has that option where you can actually even, schedule your pins as well. And when you do that consistently, you will realize that the more you post, at least 5 to 25 times a day or schedule, then you will realize that you're maximizing on the fresh pin analysis, because on Pinterest, people are looking for fresh pins. And what are fresh pins? Fresh pins are, has this thing been on this platform ever? So if you ever had something on your Instagram that never surfaced on Pinterest, that's a fresh pin. That's a fresh territory. That's a fresh audience. So now you translate that idea and form it in a keyword strategy process that when somebody listens and hears what you're saying about that particular product on Pinterest for the first time, you have been able to understand the audience that is searching for it because they need it, just because they see what they actually like, and those are the places that actually inspire them to buy. And Pinterest is a place of inspiration. So if you want someone to be inspired to get what you have to show them videos, your stories, show other people who have been having what have you done in the past. It builds that community and that trust because they want to know what's coming next. And that way, you're able to now translate that even to your website, because with an SEO and digital background, what we do with our agencies, we're able to get your business into the front end and understand that on Google, someone is searching for this SEO keyword. But this keyword is only going to pop up when it's connected to your Pinterest as a claimed website, or to your blog that has a data feed that actually shows this is the authority that it's coming from. A Pinterest pin is just an extension of your media content. So if you're able to drive that message home from your Pinterest account, send them back to your blog. The blog has the information about where to get the t-shirt, or it's being pinned right from the shop on Pinterest. Then you're using both to your advantage, because now you're visible. You're talking about the same thing. You have the same keyword repeated almost every time. It's on the right boards. You're sharing with people. You probably have an automated strategy because we're dealing with 90 days frequencies. So if you think about 90 days, those are 3 months. Those are 90 pictures. Well, how many pictures do you currently have that you can put for 90 days once a day and start somewhere? And then realize that the more you stay consistent and maybe take that one pin and maybe send it as an ad strategy, now you're literally killing two birds with one stone, because now you're creating an ad strategy. You're creating consistent pins. You don't have to be there all the time because you've already automated it. And now there's a Pinterest that's going as an ad to a particular audience that is searching for that keyword in real time. So you get your best conversion value back. You get your leads, you get your impressions, you get your audience, and you get the right people. You get the right target audience for your business. And it all depends on how you position yourself. It takes time. It's not a one-day step-up process, but it's definitely something that's rewarding for your business when you see that it actually helps the longevity of your brand.
Yeah, makes sense. I mean, Rome wasn't built in a day, right? So you got to be patient. So, no, that's great. Appreciate the help. I'm definitely going to connect with you, click on your profile link once I get to where I'm going, and then hopefully we can have some more conversations down the road.
Oh yeah, most definitely. You're welcome. Anytime. When you click on the link and you sign in, it's going to take you to a page that's going to now schedule a call with me, and you can pick any of the options that you see there. So I look forward to connecting with you. Thank you so much for coming up on stage. It's a pleasure, and I followed you as well.
All right, man. Thank you. I'll see you later.
Talk to you later. This is amazing, and I'm so happy that I was able to get this information. And I wish, Amra, you could come up on stage, but I'm about to close the room. I know you said you're at work. I've not gone to my Instagram yet, but I'm so glad I was able to, enjoy this. Please raise your hand if you enjoy this discussion real quick. Amara, if you enjoy this conversation, please raise your hand. I would love to know, just, by a show of hands. But I also know you're at work as well, so you may not be close to your phone. So it's just been amazing that I've been able to understand that building a business takes time, but enjoying the process is what actually makes it count. So think about why you're building your business from scratch, and then start somewhere, start somewhere, build something. And then from there, you're able to really enjoy the process. So that's what I've been able to do. And I hope this 5 tips helped you. And also, we're going to be having them as show notes as well. Keep that in mind. So if you're listening to this podcast, I'm excited for you to be here, because we're going to be on Clubhouse, and we're going to be there consistently, possibly every Monday, because we want to start creating that show real time. And we're also going to be here tomorrow morning with the amazing B, with Brittany. We're going to be talking about massage therapy. It's going to be amazing at 9 a.m. Eastern time. So, just be here. It's going to be really interactive, because I want to show that dedication and, build that interest and, understand exactly what's going on with Pinterest. So if you've gotten to this point, I'm excited that you're here. We're about to close the room. I said I was going to close at about 12:30 Eastern, but because of the amazing question, I was able to, interact and, see where we can be able to knock, a few questions down and see what we can be able to do. So it's been a pleasure having you here. I'm excited. You can actually listen to this podcast that we don't play. And yeah, this podcast is going to be live. And I'm excited that you were able to make it here. So much has been said. So much value has been given. And this is something that I definitely want to build, because the moment we're able to understand this from a local perspective, the moment I'm able to understand and say that, yeah, this is working for us. So thank you so much for being here. I look forward to communicating with you, and have a wonderful day. Take care. God bless. And I'm going to see you next time. Peace out.